Traumatic is how Carmen Zabo describes her recent trip with Flair Airlines. She was in Toronto visiting her sister. On July 17th, she was supposed to fly to Saskatoon. Soon after the takeoff, she says passengers were told there was no food or water available.
The flight attendants were they got cups and they would just go to the bathroom and then they would come out and they were handing individual cups out.
Instead of landing, the plane circled above Saskatoon before being diverted to Winnipeg.
Then they said, the runway's wet, we can't land. Then they said, no, the runway is actually under construction, we can't land. Then they said, well, one runway is too short, so our plane is too big, so we can't land.
After that, the passengers were informed they'd be flying back to Toronto after stopping in Winnipeg. Sabo says that's when people became enraged and started yelling. That's when RCMP were called. Passengers were also told their luggage will be sent to Toronto if they got off the plane.
So 3/4 of the plane got off and they said, forget it, we don't care, get us off this flight. And then 1/4 of us stayed because we wanted our luggage.
Zabo says she was given $10 in food vouchers and no money for a hotel. Her flight finally landed on Wednesday, July 19th. A ripple effect also resulted in 33 hours of delay for people waiting in Saskatoon to fly to Toronto. Adam Cyrul was one of them. He says Flair gave him a bag of crackers as compensation.
It was just horrible customer service. I understand planes need to turn around for reasons and not every plane is on time, but the way that the passengers were treated in this instance was pretty appalling.
The Saskatoon airport confirms one runway was under construction and the other was too wet and too short for Flair to land.
When we do anticipate wet conditions on the shorter runway, we're doing extra reporting of that condition, and that allows the airlines to make appropriate decisions on the landing distance that is available to them.
Flair Airlines says landing the plane in Saskatoon would have been unsafe due to the weather. Still, experts say the airline owes its passengers delayed on both sides of journey compensations.
For the Toronto to Saskatoon travelers, they would be entitled to compensation of $500 per traveler.
It's just a stunning level of incompetence by Flair. I really have difficulty believing that there was anything wrong with the Saskatoon airport runway.
I will certainly never fly with Flair.
For Zabo, the very idea of flying now deems daunting. Pratyush Dayal, CBC News, Saskatoon.